You're listening to Faith Connections podcast, where we are dedicated to connecting you to your faith. And now your hosts, Chris and Mari Torres.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Faith Connections. It's Chris and Mari Torres. Welcome back to part 2 of Again and Again and Again.
Again? We're doing this again?
Yes.
We're doing it again.
Yes. And I know it's interesting because you're saying it that way, but that's exactly what it means. I remember when, like, I'm going to make something at, like, and the kids are like,
Again.
You're going to make chili? Again? You're going to make, or you've said this, I'm going to make chicken Alfredo because the kids are requesting it and you're like, Again?
Yeah.
Yes. Again.
So we complain about a lot of other things about again, but when the things that really matter, we don't do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, God had so much grace and love for us. He sent his son to die for us.
Yeah.
And he only needed to do it once.
Mm-hmm.
But again and again, we fall short.
Yeah.
And he's there to pick us up.
Mm-hmm.
He's there to pick up the pieces.
Yes.
But what are we going to do about it? How can we change? How can we affect our forward momentum?
Yeah.
Right. And so we left off and we were in 1 Kings talking about Elijah and how powerful of prayer. And we talked about how prayer with combination with fasting made a big difference, right? We shared a little bit of our testimony there in the sense of I finally came to my senses.
And God made it happen.
And God made it happen.
And that's
right?
the difference, right? It's like we can't control people.
Right.
But God can make the shift. God can
Soften
your heart, right? Even though you're like, oh, the pride and, you know, we build up those walls.
Your ego is not your amigo.
You say it all the time. But the Lord has the power to soften.
To change and transform.
To bring wisdom. To bring humility. Humble pie. I need you, right? This is what I need you to do, and this is why. And for the most part, it's because he's going to use us
Again
and again to help different people as we encounter them, as we come in contact with them. It could be our friends, it could be family members, podcasts, right? People that may reach out. Hey, I've been there, I've done that, and this is what God has done in my life. But before I know we're going to talk about the story, but let's give a backstory, right? So we have King Ahab, who is the king of Israel, and he is a horrible king because he's not truly declaring Lord is Lord. They start declaring that all these prophets are, you know, they're gods and whatnot with Jezebel, right? So we know that he's a horrible king. And so the Lord brought drought and famine, right? And this has happened for 3 years because it says that in the 3rd year, he told Elijah, hey, go tell the king, oh, a rainstorm is coming, right? And he was so selfish. He only cared about, you know, he didn't care about the people of Israel. He just cared about trying to get the animals to be able to withstand that famine. Either way, we know that we're here where God speaks to Elijah and say, hey, rain's coming. It's going to pour. Be ready.
So, and then Elisha delivers that message, right? And at this point, he's up in the mountain of the top of Carmel. And where do we leave off? In verse 43, right? We talked about the whole prayer. So now, in this part 2, the next we're gonna segue into is the whole part of doing it again, right? So I'll pick up in verse 43, and he said to his servant, "Go up now, look toward the sea." So he went up and looked, but he said, "There is nothing." Right? So he's now telling him, "Okay, there's nothing.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see nothing." What? But yet Elijah said, "Go back 7 times." And this is the NASB. NLT says, "Go again."
It says, so the servant went and looked, then returned to Elijah and said, I didn't see anything. 7 times Elijah told him to go and look, right? And then it says, and then it says, finally, the 7th time his servant told him, and we'll kind of go into that. But I want to break this down because it doesn't necessarily break it down in scripture, but I want you to picture this, okay? There's Elijah, and he's like, okay, rain's coming. Keen, go and eat, right? Go get something to eat and drink, for I hear a mighty rainstorm is coming. You go do you. I'm going to do what I know I can do, because he's being used as an intercessor for the people of Israel.
The vessel.
Yes, God is always working, and he has, thank God, we talked about thank God for godly friends, for godly husbands and wives, that when you don't know what is good for you, what you should be doing, you have people in behalf of you as intercessory prayers that are praying, right? So that God can lead you and direct you to doing his will.
Your inner circle, your support system.
Yes.
And since we advocate for mental health, that could be your therapist, that can be your counselor, that could be your spouse. Just like you praying for me to go seek help and get counseling and get therapy, that you are my support system. You in the time that you felt that I needed it the most, you prayed fervorously, and you did it again and again, right? And you took it to the Lord.
Yes.
And the Lord finally changed me within 3 weeks, you said? Is that
Couple
what
of
it was?
weeks.
Couple of weeks, right? So that's just our little quick testimony. And now I found something that I actually enjoy.
Equine therapy.
Equine therapy, you know,
It's
I'm an
teaching you
advocate.
so much.
I've in the little bit that I've been going, 2 months now, 3 months. I even was part of a parade with my horse, and the Wounded Warriors. We were all riding together, a bunch of veterans, and I learned so much in the equine therapy, because we have a life coach, and then we have the clinician, the guy that handles the horses and the person that handles the human.
Combining.
And they're husband and wife, and they work as a team. And one's coaching us on what to do with the horse, and the other one's coaching us as, hey, this is what you actively got to think. This is what you got to work through. Okay, there's a challenge up ahead. So that translates to life challenges. You think about it. You're going through an obstacle with the horse. That translates to life's obstacles.
Yeah.
But you got to sometimes do it again and again and again. So it's not just one session. It's multiple sessions. And here we see where Elijah gets told, or tells his servant to go and look. But he doesn't just go one time, two times.
But even the first time, right? So think about this, right? So it's Elijah, and he's like, okay, rainstorm's coming. Chris, blessings are coming. You're going to be healed. Our finances, whatever the case may be. I'm using it in current times, right?
I don't believe you.
Right? Because your current situation might look different. You're like, rain's coming. I don't see no rain coming. There's been a drought for 3 years, and you're telling me rain's coming? I don't believe you. Right. And that is the attitude that we have, right? That is the mindset sometimes that we have, because we can't see it. And here's the thing. I was reading this book, and it said, you might think you don't see something, but you do see. There's something to see in everything. And we're going to get to that, right? Because even though it was a small cloud that he eventually saw, there is something to see. God is always working behind the scenes. There is something, but are you perception? What eyes are you seeing it with? Are you seeing it with the eyes of faith, the eyes of trust? Are you seeing it with your eyes in the natural realm versus the spiritual realm, knowing what God can do, because he continues to do it again and again and again and again. So he goes, right? And you're like, whatever. There hasn't been blessings are coming. They're going to be pouring down through the rain. No, it's been dry. Marty, what are you talking about? Right? And I'm like, go check. You go, you come back the first time, and you're like, you made me go. There's nothing, right? That's the attitude. I'm just picturing it, because that's what we do. And I'm like, okay, go again. And I'm praying, Father, come, I'm just praying to the Lord, because I know that I can't do this, but I know that you can do this. Right. And you go, and guess what? You don't see nothing. You come back. It's your second time. Marty?
How many times do I got to do this?
You want to give up already? Do you want to give up already?
I sure do. By the second time, third time for sure, I'm throwing in the towel.
You're wasting my time. What are you doing?
Yes.
Right? And I'm like, ooh, I know what my God can do. Ooh, I feel it. He spoke it to me. This is what it looks like when God speaks something to you, and only to you and nobody else. Because you received it, so you believe it. You know it. It was spoken to you. That is Elijah. It wasn't spoken to his servant, but that's how God uses us to build faith to other people. right? So then you're like, okay, it's the second time. No, go again. Go again. And what does the servant do? He goes
again.
and comes back the third time. Did you see something?
Nope.
Nada.
But I was just reminded right now, real quick, a totally different story. But Noah was looked at as a crazy when they told him rain was coming. And so we're talking about rain and going.
Let's build
Let's
an
build
ark.
an ark. And it's like, what? No,
I ain't gonna die in the flood.
yeah. So as you're speaking there, kind of saying that God spoke it to you and you feel it in your
Yes.
heart and you know it to be true, but I don't see it. You see it, but I don't see it.
Correct.
That's exactly what happened with Noah. Noah saw that, hey, there's going to be rain at some point. God's about to rain down and pour down,
And who looked crazy after all?
Well, they all ended up perishing in the flood, and only
Exactly.
his family survived.
Exactly.
So he ain't crazy.
Yeah. So crazy, what you think is crazy is not crazy. It's the opposite.
So things don't make sense sometimes.
No,
They don't seem
they don't.
to make sense.
No.
And of course we always say that, well, if it doesn't make sense, it's not from God. It's always been the same.
It's when
But
when it causes
but the
confusion.
correct. And sometimes things are not going to make sense. Why? Because God works in the supernatural,
Not in the natural.
not in the natural.
Exactly.
And the natural man cannot think it. The natural
Exactly.
man cannot understand it or
Exactly.
explain it. But yet this is supernatural. And I think so you're back. So we're already at the third time.
third time.
You send me 3 times.
Yes,
Jared.
and you're
All right,
like-
dude, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. I give up.
I'm done.
Yes,
I don't see
cool.
nothing. You keep saying there's rain, and I keep going out there, and it's the third time, and the number 3 is the God's number. So wouldn't it have already rained? I'm done.
That would have been a small portion though.
Exactly, a small portion. That's right.
A
It's
small
coming,
portion. It's
and you're like,
a side portion.
yes,
But
okay,
no,
okay, servant, keep going.
I need a full portion.
Yes, keep going. One more time. Almost.
The
Fourth
number
time.
7. Let's get to the 7th one.
No. We're gonna play this out. Fourth time. Let's
Fourth
go.
time, okay.
Go. You come back, and I'm praying because God spoke this. I know. I feel it. I know because He keeps doing it again and again and again and again. Let's play it out because this is real life. This is what happens, right? This is
We're ready to
what
throw in
we
the towel.
exactly
Yep.
right. So you come back.
And I'm being for real. I'm ready to throw in the towel. Let's get to the 7th.
Yes, exactly. See, even Chris, let's even talk
wanna
about
get the nugget
that.
already.
You were already, and we're like, no.
Yes.
Slow your roll, buddy. Slow your roll, right?
So
Okay,
4,
fourth, go back to 5th.
5th. I come back. I don't see nothing.
Okay. No faith. It's okay. I know God's gonna deliver us because He's done it before, and He's gonna do it again and again and again. Go again, 6th time. Let's go.
So I go. Wait. Oh no, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Are you sure?
I'm positive nothing.
You sure you didn't see
It
anything?
was just a wave.
I don't know. I'm feeling something. Are you sure?
I'm positive nothing.
Okay. Go again.
Again? You want me to go again? I
Go
already went
again.
6
And at this
times.
time, you might be pushing someone or shoving someone to try to do something because they're tired. They're not going to want to do it.
Right.
They're done. They're done. No, again. Get up again. You've been depressed in that bed for how long? Get up. Go again. Go again.
Your health
Wash your
issues
face.
have been plaguing
Let's go.
you for 6 years now.
Yes. Go again.
let's go.
Go
Let's
again.
go again.
Go again. So the 7th time. Tell me, Chris, what do you see? What do you see?
On verse 42, it says, "And when he returned the 7th time, he said, Behold, a cloud as small as a person's hand is coming up from the sea."
Let me read you my version. It says, 7 times Elijah told him to go and look. And it says, verse 44, Finally,
Wow.
the 7th time his servant told him, I saw a little cloud about the size of a man's hand rising from the sea. Ooh, when you don't see nothing, you see something. There's something there. You have to believe it. You have to receive it before you believe it.
It's little.
It is.
There's no way that's gonna bring rain.
Oh, it's coming.
It's so little.
It's coming.
It's small.
What does Jesus
I've been over
say?
there 7 times.
Yes.
Because 7
Jesus
is
says-
a complete number.
Jesus says, all you need is faith of a size of a
Mustard seed.
Why? Why do things start small? Why? Why does God do this? Why?
Because God's gonna get the honor and glory when He makes something so big out of something so small.
Yes. And that's the thing we need to understand. Everything's gonna start small. Faith Connections, it's starting small. If you're following us, yes, it's starting
thank you.
small. But see, you don't know what God's gonna do with this ministry because He's the only one that's going to expand and grow this ministry. He has the power to do it. We don't. We're no one. We're just vessels. We're following His lead. We're following His instructions. Same thing with your situation. It looks small. It looks small. But man, God, but God, and only God will take that and expand that to whatever it is. In this case, it's a rainstorm after a 3-year drought.
Well, let's look at it in real terms. Doesn't a hurricane form in the Gulf? We live here in South Texas, and every time during hurricane season, where I was looking at the weather, it starts off as just a simple rainstorm, a cloud that goes over the warm water of the Gulf, can then immediately elevate and escalate to category 5 hurricane, right? And it starts off of a small cloud, just a simple rainstorm over the warm waters of the Gulf can transform into a category 5 hurricane, which can be very devastating. So you think here, this is a small cloud the size of a hand. And it's not a coincidence that he went 7 times. Let's also look at that. 7 is a complete number. It's the number of God, right?
Yes.
So they're gonna get their portion. And I say portion because right now, further down, we're gonna get a double portion, right? But the 7th number is a complete number, and it's a small cloud. Man, you gotta, and it's just reminding me that you gotta give something to God in order for Him to bless and turn it around and make it something grand, right? It becomes supernatural. You think about when He fed the 5,000. How many loaves and how many fish? Bring me what you got. They bring Him 3 fish and 2 loaves. Bam! Just like that, He feeds 5,000. They even have leftovers, is what we read in the gospel.
Yes.
Right? And it's in all the gospels. Man, so you think it starts with something small, but gets so big. They say that the faith of a mustard seed can move mountains.
Yes.
That's all we need. We need the faith of a mustard seed. You just said it. You shared that scripture, and it can move mountains.
Yes. See, the small cloud represents hope, right? So when you don't see something, you see something. You just said we have to give Him something to work with. And that is, and here's the thing. Sometimes, it's not even, He's not even requiring you to even give Him something tangible. Does that make sense?
Right.
You just need to have faith. You just need to believe. You just need to trust that He's going to do what He says He's going to do. If He said it, He will do it. We have to take Him at His word, right? So we know that it's a symbol of hope. Man, Elijah's ability to perceive and trust in this small sign reflects strong faith and expectation. There's a small cloud. Ooh, a thunderstorm is coming. We know God said it, He will do it. If God said it, He will do it. That is what we have to give Him to work through, right? Because if God, that's what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to keep you alive, to be able to, okay, motivated, inspired, encouraged. Okay, let me get up. Let me keep praying. I'm not going to give up. That's how you're going to continue to press moving forward, and to go again and again and again. You might have to go 7 times. You might have to go 20 times. You might have to go 40 times. You might have to go 100 times. You might have to go thousands of times. But you go again and again and again with expectation that He's going to do it. Because if He said it, He will do it.
And just, you claim it in the name of Jesus, right? You claim it that this is what I'm going to receive. I'm about to receive my blessing. And you hold on to that hope. But here we read in verse 45, meanwhile, the sky became dark with clouds, and wind came up, and there was a heavy shower. And Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. Boom, Jezreel right there. That pops out. And as I dove a little bit deeper in it, so we talked about the number 7, right? Being the complete number, because the servant went back 7 times. And it turns out, from Mount Carmel to Jezreel, it was a 14 days walk. And and I think you shared that before. 7
times 2 or plus
times
2.
2 or 7 plus 7. 7 times 2. If 7 is the complete number of God,
That's
that's
double
your
portion.
That's your portion, the 7. But if it's 14,
That's a double portion right there, baby.
Portion. So not only did they just get, they saw a small cloud coming, the size of a man's hand. But yet the rain clouds are coming, and it says from Carmel to Jezreel, it's a 14 days walk.
Wow.
That's double the number 14. So he had to move quickly and get to Jezreel, because if not, the rain, the showers, the storms were going to capture him.
Yes.
So at that point, that tells me that God not only gave them a portion, but he gave them a double portion of rain. And that was to make up for the 3 years that they lacked of rain.
Yes.
How many times do we give up? I wanted to give up already when you were sending me the second time. And the third
that was
time.
on God. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that you did that, because it shows the human and the
It is,
reality
yes.
of how we are.
Right. I
Because
was
you
like,
did
we're
it.
just gonna eat up time here. So I was like, don't do
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
in my mind, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, no, but you wanted to play it out, and I'm thinking we're gonna eat up the time on the clock, but no, it served its purpose,
God had other plans.
and we have our double portion. But do we give up? How many of us have given up and don't even give God anything to bless? We want our blessing, but we're not even making that small step forward.
Yeah.
We're not stepping out in faith. And we just talked about having the faith of a mustard seed. So do you even step out in faith? Take that one step forward to say, God, here I am. Give me my portion. But God says, no, I'll give you a double portion.
Yes. And so if you're wondering, why did it take 7 times? Why did it take 14 times? Why did it take, man, I've been praying for years, because God has a blessing that is at a higher level, more exceedingly abundantly that you can imagine. That is why. See, he's not just okay with giving you leftovers
Mediocre
or hey, just giving you what you want. He's preparing you to be ready for when he gives you that double portion that he has waiting for you.
It might be a flood that's been waiting, but that's what's happening here. He's going to give them a lot of rain. But before we end, I would like to give a little scripture here, Psalms 37. We've shared this before, but it says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart.
Yes.
Man, but have you been delighting yourself? Have you
Yes.
been praying? Are you
Yes.
going back again and again and again?
Yes.
That's what it means to delight yourself in the Lord. Am I coming back for more? Am I coming? Am I being feverishly prayer and fasting,
Yes.
right? To delight
Yes.
yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart.
Yes.
But verse 5 says, commit your way to the Lord. So now there's the discipline part. Where's
Yes.
the discipline in you that you've committed your way to the Lord? Trust also in him, and he will do it.
Yes.
We just talked about he will do it. Not only is he going to give you a portion, he's going to give you double portion.
Yes.
But you have to trust in him, and he will do it. He
If
is
he
faithful
says
to his
it,
word.
he will
If
do
he
it.
says it, he will do it. And you got to give him something small.
Yes.
Give him that small prayer, but don't give up on it. Commit it. Commit to it. Stay
Again
disciplined.
and again and again and again, because he will
Stay true to his word and his
yes,
promises.
and he will come to the rescue again and again and again and again, the way he did with the Israelites, the way he does with the children of God, the way he does with the people that he sent his son to die on the cross for. And that is, he came for all. Even if you haven't given your life to Christ, he came for you too, because he loves you.
He's waiting
He loves
on you.
you. He is.
He's waiting on you.
So I hope that this is an encouragement and a reminder that you need to just again and again and again, don't give up, again and again and again, because he will come through again and again
To his
and
word.
again
Delight
and
yourself
again.
in him.
Yes.
Commit your
Share,
ways.
yes. Share, subscribe, like. We hope that you were encouraged. Thank you so much for tuning in to Faith Connections, where we connect you to your
Faith.